Should one more stone be torn from our city walls, you will be dead before it touches the ground.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 movies that are incredibly hard to find.
Kenny's just a man is all. He can't help it if he likes air travel, pretty girls, and happiness.
For this list, we're ranking the films that pose the highest degree of difficulty when it comes to sourcing their physical home video releases. Which of these movies have you found easy to dig up? Let us in on your secret down in the comments. Hey Mojoholics! For a chance to win cash prizes, play our live daily trivia challenges every day at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern only at WatchMojo.com/play. Number 20. I Was a Teenage Werewolf. It's the sort of 1950s monster movie you would think would be readily available on home video, especially since I Was a Teenage Werewolf was a financial success. Yet DVDs of the AIP-produced picture remain extremely scarce. Monster kids with a working VCR can try to source themselves a VHS tape of the flick. However, any physical media hounds searching for discs of I Was a Teenage Werewolf may have to seek out their local gray market vendor.
You'll find this is different than tracking down the ordinary criminal. You're dealing with the cunning, the ruthlessness of something that is supernatural.
If all else fails, you could try searching for a quality rip of the film on YouTube. And hey, maybe check out I Was a Teenage Frankenstein too and make it a groovy double feature. Number 19. The Keep. Michael Mann has been responsible for some of the most stylish cult hits of all time, including the original Miami Vice. The writer-director possesses an immediately recognizable vision and approach, which is glaring in his 1983 horror film The Keep. A fully restored, remastered, and deluxe version of The Keep has long been a dream for fans of both Mann and genre cinema.
Where am I from? I am from you.
Yet only an Australian DVD from 2020 exists alongside the film's original VHS and Laserdisc formats. This NTSC DVD also does not feature Mann's original director's cut, which remains tantalizingly out of reach at the time of this writing. Here's hoping that The Keep will receive a proper high-definition homecoming sometime in the near future. Number 18. Begotten. If you're the type of fan who frequents horror or genre film conventions, then you've likely stumbled upon various vendors peddling gray market DVD-Rs of hard-to-find films. Begotten from 1989 is one of those discs that always seems to show up on those tables, primarily due to its troubled home video release. The DVD for director E. Elias Marriage's experimental horror flick from World Artists is now out of print, and can fetch upwards of $40 on the secondhand market. Meanwhile, there's been no Blu-ray upgrade at the time of this writing, meaning that fans may need to hold on to those gray market discs just a little bit longer.
Makes Eraserhead seem like Ernest Saves Christmas.
Number 17. Little Darlings. When it comes to getting some decent home video love, Little Darlings has a lot of things going against it.
This seat's taken. By who? My guardian angel.
For starters, the picture originally arrived with a soundtrack full of hit 80s bands, including Blondie, Supertramp, and The Cars. Licensing issues with this soundtrack heavily affected the second VHS release of Little Darlings. Additionally, the film's plot of two teenage girls betting on who will lose their virginity first made the release of a DVD or Blu-ray copy problematic for the original studio Paramount.
Looks like some of us women. And some of us are little girls.
There is an all-region disc of dubious quality available for order on Amazon, but a fully restored Little Darlings remains elusive.
Still haven't told me your name yet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's Randy. Don't let the name fool you.
Number 16. Last Summer. Fans who saw Last Summer during its original 1969 run await a digital restoration with bated breath. They may have to wait a little longer, however, since the film was actually considered lost before a 16mm print was discovered in 2001. Last Summer has seen frequent airings on television, but this version excised much of the content that gave it an X rating during its original release. The coming-of-age film certainly pulls no punches with regards to its storytelling, and features some high-profile actors, including Barbara Hershey, Bruce Davison, and Richard Thomas.
She had no right to die like that. And leave me alone.
A transfer from 16mm film to DVD or Blu-ray seems unlikely, so here's hoping the original negative or a good quality 35mm print will be uncovered soon.
She closed my door and turned out the light. That was the last time I saw her.
Number 15. Dead Solid Perfect. Here's a question. Should everything be available on digital home video? Or are some films better left forgotten or in a certain format?
Get up one time. Caught in a heel.
Dead Solid Perfect was produced by HBO back in 1988, an adaptation of the same titled 1974 book by Dan Jenkins.
Gotta get yourself a swing you can rely on. A repeating swing.
The film, which actually features a cool score by 80s synth masters Tangerine Dream, only received a physical release on VHS back in 1993. As of yet, this remains the only medium, outside of YouTube, that the curious can view Dead Solid Perfect. So if you're a golf fan or just want to hear some cool Tangerine Dream tunes, then you should probably head that way for your fix.
Keith, if Kenny Lee ever wanted anything in his life, it's this putt on the 16th hole for a birdie, which would put him one back of Donnie Smithern.
This is what they call a character builder, I believe.
Number 14. The Devils. The history and infamy surrounding Ken Russell's The Devils has been the subject of books, think pieces, and articles from all around the world.
Even the most innocent lamb is destined for the lustful ram, Monsieur Trinquant.
Her lily-white purity is stained!
Fans of this transgressive classic love to debate The Devil's troubled history, its endless censorship, and the controversy that still surrounds its full, uncut release so many years later. VHS versions of the film were across the board with their runtimes, and were largely of poor pan and scan quality. Bootlegs abound, each claiming to be the 100% authentic uncut version of The Devils.
I have no accomplices. These crimes are not my crimes. Please stop this foolishness. We both know why I have been brought to trial, and we both know why I have been found guilty.
With only a double-disc DVD being offered by the British Film Institute currently, it remains to be seen whether an original definitive version of The Devils will ever make its way to Blu-ray.
Confess! Confess! See how he flinches! See how he denies his redeemer!
Number 13. Nocturna, Granddaughter of Dracula. Fans of a certain age may remember the VHS boom of the 1980s, and how basically anything that ever hit movie screens was given new life on home video. Nocturna was one of those movies.
She is Nocturna! I'm the granddaughter of Count Dracula.
Subtitled Granddaughter of Dracula, it was a groovy disco vampire flick that served as a vehicle for aspiring star Nye Bonet.
But Nocturna is out for blood.
The film even received a vinyl soundtrack to go along with its release, an LP that contained songs by such disco staples as Gloria Gaynor and Vicky Sue Robinson. It's perhaps the musical rights associated with this soundtrack that have, thus far, ensured that Nocturna remains a VHS-only property for the time being.
Generations of vampires in your blood. You're part of a tradition that has lasted for centuries. Defy it, and you risk self-destruction.
I'll take that risk.
Number 12. Mondo Trasho. Hey, guess what? It's musical rights time again. Yup, like many of the entries on this list, that is the culprit behind the unavailability of 1969's Mondo Trasho, a feature directed by everyone's favorite unapologetic filth hound, John Waters.
But it could be a narc. Yeah, or maybe a beatnik. Or a junkie. Yes, or an acid hit.
Waters didn't bother to clear any of the licensing rights when he originally filmed Mondo Trasho, instead deciding to just rip tunes from his home record collection. As a result, Mondo Trasho was only released on VHS, and it seems highly unlikely that the film's musical rights will ever retroactively be fixed.
Oh God! Oh Mary! Oh Holy Trinity!
So what does this mean? Well, if you ever plan on giving the pseudo-documentary a rewatch, you'd have to fire up that VCR, of course. Number 11. Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story. This short film was the first glimpse into the unique cinematic mind of Todd Haynes. Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story utilizes dolls as its actors, alongside other footage to create an experimental viewing experience that isn't soon forgotten.
Why can't she find a nice place in Downey? Why does she have to be out in the middle of...
Because she doesn't want to live in Downey, all right?
However, Haynes never cleared the rights to use the Carpenter's music, and Richard Carpenter was reportedly not a fan of the finished product. Haynes was sued by Carpenter as a result, and the film was blocked from theaters and remains unavailable on home video.
Know that you're all concerned and won't like being excluded from my recovery, but Cherry couldn't stress enough how much family life and career add to the stress of anorexia.
The result of this lawsuit was something of a Streisand effect, however, spiking interest in Superstar and raising its otherwise innocuous status into all-time cult classic territory. Number 10. The original, unaltered Star Wars trilogy. There isn't enough room here to properly discuss the myriad changes made to the Star Wars films since the first film's release back in 1977. It is important to mention, however, how the original unaltered cuts of the film still elude the clutches of many fans so many years later.
Yes, I bet you have.
Sure, those in the know are well aware of the fan-edited despecialized edition, as well as the 2006 DVDs that feature inferior masters sourced from Laserdisc. However, the OG untampered-with films still have yet to be released on anamorphic widescreen format, leaving many fans clinging to their THX VHS tapes for dear life.
Hey, what's the matter? You smell something?
Number 9. Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
I'm writing a novel.
Isn't everybody?
How is it possible for an Academy Award-nominated film to be unavailable on DVD or Blu-ray? It may seem strange, but that is exactly the case for Looking for Mr. Goodbar, an acclaimed adaptation of the cult novel starring Diane Keaton. The film was released the same year as her breakout role in Annie Hall, and featured a plethora of popular 70s disco hits. This is likely the reason behind Goodbar's scarcity on home video, as the musical rights were only secured for a VHS release and a vinyl soundtrack. Today, the film occasionally pops up on YouTube or DVD bootlegs, but fans are still waiting for a properly restored home video edition.
Go set the world on fire!
Number 8. Naked Tango.
Well, maybe he'll dance with me. Can you tango?
If you're dying to catch this early erotic drama effort with Vincent D'Onofrio at home, then warm up that VCR. Naked Tango was written and directed by Leonard Schrader, brother of Taxi Driver screenwriter Paul Schrader, and co-starred Matilda May, known for her daring role in Tobe Hooper's Life Force.
I'll do whatever you want. Please, Cholo.
Despite all of this star power, actually being able to track down a copy of Naked Tango can prove challenging, as the film has never been released on DVD. Furthermore, the film's VHS release can go for big bucks on the second-hand market, leaving the curious to either pay up or search for a YouTube stream.
Do you want to make me happy?
Yes.
Number 7. A Fistful of Fingers.
You seen this guy?
No. We ain't seen him.
You'd think it'd be a no-brainer to release this early effort from acclaimed filmmaker Edgar Wright to the masses on home video, right? Wrong. As Wright's A Fistful of Fingers remains tantalizingly out of reach for fans who've grown to love the English writer-director for efforts like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and Baby Driver. The film itself is a comedic homage to the spaghetti westerns made in Italy during the 1960s and 70s, and has been teased multiple times by Wright and others about possibly receiving a home video release somewhere down the road. But as of yet, this has not happened. Number 6. Wired.
Buzz, buzz. Buzz, buzz.
Hey, did you know that Michael Chiklis of The Shield once played John Belushi? It's true. Unfortunately, Wired, Chiklis' feature film debut, was not well received by audiences, critics, or those close to Belushi, although the actor's overall performance was praised.
Hey! Does anybody have a quarter?
The filmmakers were jinxed from the start for trying to adapt Bob Woodward's controversial book, and their troubles continued after Wired was released, as it was largely trashed in the press. Still, The film's bizarre tone and poor taste almost beg for at least one cursory viewing, yet Wired has never been released on DVD, with only an out-of-print VHS release to entice the morbidly curious.
I was so crestfallen. I'll never forget.
Number 5. The Day the Clown Cried.
You will see wonderful things happen to a human being because some things happen that make him think about others besides himself, and that's all I'm going to tell you.
The Day the Clown Cried was an attempt at drama from comic icon Jerry Lewis, about a circus clown trapped in Nazi Germany. The film was fraught with production issues, and gained notoriety almost instantly for being disowned by its creator as an embarrassment. It was never released, and The Day the Clown Cried quickly became the bad movie everyone wanted to see, but very few had the chance.
Are we ever going to get to see The Day the Clown Cried?
No.
Lewis only screened the film privately to a select few, and submitted a copy to the Library of Congress in 2015, with a provision that there be no screening prior to June 2024. There is also no planned home video release. Number 4. Let It Be.
Morning, Paul. Good morning, Rich. How are you this morning?
The Beatles are undeniably one of the most influential musical groups of all time. So why is the 1970 documentary about the creation of their last album still unavailable on DVD? Perhaps because Let It Be showcases the band at their most combative and combustible, displaying John, Paul, George, and Ringo, warts and all.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't mind. I'll play, whatever you want me to play. Or I won't play at all if you don't want me to play. No, whatever it is that will please you, I'll do it.
The film was released on video cassette and Laserdisc, but neither was of great quality. While certain sequences were included in the mid-90s documentary series The Beatles Anthology. The rumor, though, is that the surviving Beatles have attempted to block a DVD release at every turn, for fear of damaging their brand.
All right, lads. That's enough.
Number 3. Blues. When the Rolling Stones commissioned this documentary chronicling their 1972 tour, they probably didn't expect this level of realism. Perhaps that's why the band decided to block the release of this film from director Robert Frank, petitioning for an injunction to make it illegal to screen the documentary unless Frank was physically present.
Just that atmosphere there is just completely against creativity of any kind.
The Stones were embarrassed of having their backstage bad boy behavior on screen for all to see, and the film has never been released on legitimate home video, only being screened a small number of times since it was shot.
That's not even moving.
Number 2. Nothing Lasts Forever.
I'll go on again, but this is the last time.
How's it possible that a film produced by Lorne Michaels of Saturday Night Live and starring Bill Murray is unavailable on home video? The truth is sorta complicated. Nothing Lasts Forever has been tied up in legal hell since first being filmed in 1984, and was never even released theatrically after it wrapped production. The film has seen certain 35mm screenings and television airings over the years, and has been both leaked and yanked from YouTube.
Seatbelt fastened? Oh, yes, it is.
A proper home video presentation with extras remains off the table for now, however, frustrating film fans who finally want to see Nothing Lasts Forever restored.
Life is a dream. The problem is, most people are sleepwalkers who never awake.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Song of the South.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day.
It's the Disney film that gave us the classic Zippity-Doo-Dah. Yet a full, uncut edition of Song of the South remains unreleased on home video in the United States. Portions of the film, mainly the animated sequences, have been released on various Disney compilation anthologies, but the US to this day hasn't received the legitimate video releases afforded to Europe, Asia, and Latin America. It's the live-action scenes that are the culprit, thanks to the film's perceived marginalizing of slavery, as well as its prevalent black stereotypes.
Ain't you never heard that tale?
Not yet, Uncle Remus.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.